Hello everyone, and welcome to Infinite Altitudes, where we bring you everything about aviation. Today we bring you the incredible journey of how commercial aviation evolved from the very first passenger flight at Kitty Hawk in May 1908 to modern supersonic travel and supermassive jumbo jets. Just about a century ago, commercial aviation was barely a concept. But did you know that last year, over 4.5 billion people flew commercially? That's more than 12 million passengers every single day. In today's modern age, flying in comfort and safety is very much taken for granted. Systems like the GPS, fly-by-wire technology, collision avoidance system, ground proximity warning system and sophisticated weather detection equipment makes flying safe. Then we also have other things like HEPA filters, cabin pressure and humidity control, touchless technologies, UV disinfection and enhanced cleaning systems that take care of health and hygiene measures. And the modern aircraft like the B787 Dreamliner, A350 B777 in commercial flying, and Gulfstream G700 and Bombardier 7500 for the business flyers make flying a breeze, if you'll excuse the term. And not forgetting the innumerable ground personnel, in-flight crew and all the massive facilities that go to make flying a convenience and a pleasure. But in its infancy, commercial aviation was anything but glamorous. Back then, flying was boring, hugely time-consuming, unhealthy and unsafe. The very first passenger flight was in Kitty Hawk in May 1908, which travelled a distance of 2,000 feet carrying Wilbur Wright and Charles Funes. And it was not until 1914 when the first ever commercial flight took off. It was an airboat piloted by Tony Janus and flew 17 miles, 30 kilometers, from St. Petersburg to Tampa, in Florida, USA. Though this service was operated for only 4 months, it unlocked the appetite of those interested in air travel. But it was not till the 1920s that commercial flying became an accepted form of travel. Several startup airlines were established around then, a few of which are in operation even today. KLM in the Netherlands, 1919, Qantas in Australia, 1920, and Czech Airlines, 1923. At the time, it was the multi-engine planes like Lawson C2 that were specifically built to ferry passengers that fed the increasing interest in air travel. But these early aircraft were noisy, uncomfortable and cold. Back then, the planes were powered by piston-powered propeller engines and had unpressurized cabins, which meant that flying times were lengthy, with frequent refueling stops. Added to that was turbulence, which caused severe air sickness, and many airlines had to place nurses on board to attend to passengers who got airsick. But despite flying being expensive and dangerous, it quickly became a novelty and fashionable. According to data from the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, the American airline industry grew rapidly from 6,000 passengers in 1929 to 450,000 in 1934, and then on to 1.2 million in 1938. By this time, aircraft technology had also leapt ahead, and in 1935, planes like the propeller-powered Douglas DC-3, which could carry 35 passengers at 200 miles per hour, 320 kilometers per hour, for 1,500 miles, 2,500 kilometers, were introduced. And it became a huge hit with the airline companies. During the Second World War, progress in commercial aviation considerably slackened, but it was also in 1940 that Pan Am added the Boeing 307 Stratoliner to its fleet. The B307 was derived from the B-17 Flying Fortress bomber and was the first ever pressurized passenger airliner. Needless to say, with the pressurized cabin, flying became a completely different experience. Planes could now fly at 20,000 feet, and the days of turbulence and air sickness became a thing of the past. Airline companies began advertising faraway destinations, and iconic routes like Pan Am's New York-London route became within easy reach of many. And then came the jet engines. The first purpose-built jet engine-powered aircraft was the British de Havilland Comet, which flew for the first time in 1949 and entered commercial service with BOAC in 1952. It flew at 450 miles per hour, 725 kilometers per hour, and carried 36 passengers up to 2,500 miles, 4,000 kilometers. Jet-powered aircraft like the Boeing 707, introduced in 1958, changed the game, cutting flight times in half and making air travel far more efficient. This new speed and reliability gave people confidence in flying, and demand gradually began to soar. We hope you are still with us and will support us by subscribing to the channel and liking this video. We also have several more fascinating videos on history of aviation and on iconic aircrafts. Their links are the first thing you will see in the description. The 1960s saw major innovations in airline industry, not least the supersonic dream, the CONCORDE. It became an icon for technology and innovation and was a hit with business travelers. It was also around then that other modern airplanes were developed and introduced into service. Boeing's 737 and 747 became icons in their own right and were key players in ushering in modern-day air travel. Several other airliners introduced around the same time were the Douglas DC-8 and DC-9, Convair 880, Tupolev Tu-154, Vickers VC-10 and the Ilyushin 62. But it was the 747, the queen of the skies, that made long-haul travel to international destinations a reality for everyday travelers. Suddenly, flying across the Atlantic or the Pacific was within easy reach. This one aircraft redefined what it meant to travel, and in doing so, it brought the world closer together. Next, we saw the rise of budget airlines in the 1970s. Companies like Southwest Airlines in the US and Ryanair in Europe showed that air travel didn't have to be a luxury. By offering low-cost, no-frills flights, these airlines opened the skies to millions who could now afford to fly, sparking a travel revolution. But it was not just the airlines themselves that brought this incredible evolution. Development of technology that made flying easier and safer, together with modern materials that improved the quality and ease of manufacturing and added to passenger comfort, all had major contribution in the process. And let's not forget advancements in aircraft design and safety, new materials, better navigation, advancements in computers, all came together to make flying the beautiful experience that it is. The evolution of commercial aviation is nothing short of incredible. From early dangerous flights to the modern jets that take millions of us across continents, aviation has transformed the way we connect, explore, and experience the world. There are several airline companies that were the pioneers in the evolution of commercial aviation. These companies were run by people who dreamed big and took the risks. Chalk's Ocean Airways flew between Florida and Bahamas, USA, Deutsche Lufthansa, which is now Lufthansa, Germany, SGTA, now Air France, Snetter, now Sabina, KLM, Qantas, Aeroloid, now LOT Polish Airlines, Aeroflot, Finnair, Delta Airlines, American Airlines and Air India are just a few of the many companies that dared to dream and venture into airline business. And that's all for today, folks. So, what's your favorite aircraft or most memorable travel experience? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by aviation as we are, check out our other videos on the history of flight. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more amazing stories from the skies.